Hello YouTube, it's Colorado Contraptions with a very late night video. I intend to upload this as soon as I've done recording. No editing, just plain, here's the deal, okay? My fellow pony fans, it has come upon us. We must discuss the elephant in the room, and by that, I mean the MLP movie. I just got back from seeing it, like, literally 4 hours ago. It's like past midnight now, but I don't care. I need to share my thoughts on this. Now, for those of you who are worried, I will be uploading a re-reaction to it as soon as it comes out in a format that I can buy it, because it was an amazing thing, an amazing movie, and I need to support the creators on this in every way I can. Well, I need to see it again. Let me get that out there first, because there was a lot to take in. An hour and a half, roughly, of Ponies is a lot to take in. I gotta really review it, really look at it again to review it. So hopefully my second reaction will give some more detailed thoughts, but from what I can remember, while it's still fresh in my mind, I want to get that out to you guys. So for those of you who have seen the movie, stay tuned, because I got some wow, I cannot talk. Thoughts to share. I almost said shots. That makes no sense whatsoever, unless we were drinking, but no. I'm not going to do any of that on this channel. So, for any of the rest of you subscribers who haven't seen the movie yet, major spoiler warning right here. Do not watch this video. Okay? Not until you've seen the movie. And preferably don't watch my reactions till you've seen whatever it is I'm reacting to. Also, apparently we have another new episode coming out tomorrow morning. So, I've got a lot of reacting to do. That's 4 episodes I'm behind on. 19, 20, 21, and 22 is coming out tomorrow. I intend to do that Sunday night. I really want to get caught up. I've heard there's been quite a few good episodes in there and all sorts of in-between stuff, but enough of that. We're here to discuss the movie. Wow. I give it a 9.9 out of 10. Very solid. I wouldn't give it a straight up 10 out of 10 because it doesn't compare to The Perfect Pair, okay? That has been MLP's pinnacle for me. It's just such a good episode. But with regards to the movie, it is definitely by far the best movie that has been produced in the name of the MLP franchise. I don't consider the Equestria Girls to be that great. I'm not a fan of them. I just don't like my ponies becoming humans. No, just the whole concept of that already lowers it down several notches for me. Plus the fact that the latest 2 Equestria Girls movies that I have seen, Legend of Everfree and Friendship Games, just, to be honest, there were a lot of things that I was just like, why? But Rainbow Rocks, I'd have to say, was the best one, and that's coming from a musician. But even that doesn't, that barely gets a 6, okay? This movie, however, this was worth it. This is what I was wanting to see when I hear of MLP, okay? Now, where to begin? There's a lot to discuss. Oh my goodness. Let me think. I have to say, I was kind of surprised Fluttershy and Applejack, Rarity, and even Rainbow Dash didn't necessarily play a very prominent role in the film. I mean, they had their moments, don't get me wrong, and they were great moments, but they didn't really feel like they were there, almost. I kind of wish they'd done more with them, especially Fluttershy. I mean, she had one really good moment near the end against one of the villain's goons, but it just... She didn't really encounter any cutesy-wootsy creatures that she could interpret for the rest of the gang, and and all the creatures they did encounter were pretty darn scary, so she was terrified most of the time, and yeah, You could sum up most of the lines in her movie with one word. Yay. Seriously, like, I think she said that 5 times, 6. Pinky surprisingly got a very, very, very large role, which is surprising. I mean, I guess that kind of makes up for somewhat lack of episodes starring her in season 7, but on the same token, I was pleasantly surprised. She was portrayed really, really well. So was Twilight. Twilight was awesome. As you can see, I've now got plushies, so I took Twi to see the movie with me and my friends, and it was great. Let's see. Yeah, so if you're a hardcore Fluttershy fan, you might be slightly disappointed by that, but don't discredit the movie just because of that. It was still really darn good. The villains. Let's talk about them real quick. So, we basically had 2 villains there. We had the Storm King, who was the main bad guy. He was basically kind of like Tyrek, except he had a better sense of humor. He wasn't so in your face about it. But he kind of like played off being a villain, kind of like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, if you've seen Phineas and Ferb. Very quirky and prone to just doing silly things for the sake of it, which made him have a great personality and actor. I'm not sure I liked his design. I felt like it could have been a lot more threatening, but it was still pretty good. It was hilarious when he did have that brief moment where he had that staff full of all the Alicorn's magic and was using it to just play with the sun and the moon, just like, night, day, night, day, night. That was great. Reminds me of Twilight trying to control those back in season 4 in the finale. But to be honest, he did not have very much depth as a character. It was kind of weird, too, considering his second in command, Tempest Shadow, actually had the best development, I felt, out of anyone in the movie. I mean, granted, no, Twilight had some major development there, but but we've known her for a long time. Tempest Shadow, as far as new characters go, she had such a strong backstory that led to why she sided with the Storm King at first, which was really cool, and there were some feels there. Like, it's relatable. Because, basically, she thought her pony friends were there for her when she was in trouble, but no, they abandoned her, and she got her horn chopped off as a result of that. That's... wow. Ursa Majors are dangerous. Or Ursa Minors, I should say. That's how it happened, I guess. But that was some pretty neat continuity there with seeing that thing again, because we hadn't seen that in forever, and I wish they would use it more. It's a great-looking bear star creature. But yeah, her design is really cool. I love her design. And she even had a solo song in it at one point, trying to convince Twilight to join her, or to open her eyes, quote-unquote, and wake up to reality, so to speak. The more negative, pessimistic, dark side of reality. And I liked the song. It was pretty good. To be honest, none of the songs compared to the song from Perfect Pair, but again, that has proven to be the pinnacle of the show for me, so I can't really do it justice comparing it to that. Let's see here. Rainbow Dash, I kind of felt could have done more to help them out. She did do her Sonic Rainbow, which in the new animation style looked beautiful. Oh my gosh, I hope they keep that for her Rainbow. That was awesome. But she also gave their location away and the enemies caught up. That was funny, but that makes sense. Sometimes Rainbow Dash is a bit brash, doesn't think things through. But seriously, her Rainbow, when impacted at a source, produces a sonic rain nuke. We've seen this before. I'm honestly shocked that she didn't get so frustrated at the villains that she just would have sonic rainboomed their airship to pieces. That would have been possible. Totally doable. Maybe she was showing restraint. I'm not sure, but hey, minor continuity flaw. Anyway, let me think about this. Anyway, so the other princesses, Celestia, Luna, Cadence, they made an appearance and ended up being useless. Surprise, surprise! But to be fair, they weren't really prepared for Tempest Shadow's magic. Or the Storm King. I'm not sure who actually had those little magical green energy evil orb things that turned ponies to stone. That's a pretty cool little device. I don't know where they came up with that, or where those even come from. Is it perhaps one of those magical stones that Maud had mentioned earlier? I don't really know, but regardless, it was a dangerous tool, and they were not prepared. You know, sometimes I feel like they're not prepared for anything. Twilight's way more prepared than them. I mean, come on. Celestia, your student is outshining you consistently, repeatedly. You might want to start learning from her. Hant, hant. At any rate, let's see. The friendship party at the beginning looked pretty fun. Twilight was freaking out as usual, wanting to make it perfect because she was the princess of friendship. She had to set an example. And then when Celestia, Cadence, and Luna rejected her idea, that was interesting. She kind of felt a little bad after that because she was like, but at the same time, I understand what Celestia was trying to do. She was trying to get Twilight to see what she could do to make it special without all that extra pizzazz, so to speak. I'll have to comment on her formulas, though, that she used to calculate that stuff later. Twilight, you have some very strange variables for your equations. I'm not sure you can keep consistency with regards to solving those that way. Just a thought. Spike had a great role in this movie. I really liked his role, too. The part where they used him as a flamethrower against the bad guys. Why did they never think of that before? Genius! I love it. Spike needs to do that more. The part where he was a distraction, the part where he was helping bring Twilight out from being super down. It was just, he had a really good role here. It was comedy, and it was serious, and it was well balanced. I didn't feel like there was any Spike abuse, as the fandom likes to call it. Starlight and Trixie made a few background appearances. I saw them there. That was really cool. There were a few other great background pony appearances. I'll probably see them again when I react to this. It'll make it all better. Let's see. Songbird Serenade. She's an interesting pony. I'll be honest, I don't really like her design. Or her singing. She has that tendency to mumble her lyrics. I mean, I get that maybe it's part of that style, but I honestly, that style really drives me crazy. It's like, enunciate your words. I want to hear what you're singing. I can't understand you. It drives me bonkers, okay? Same with mumble rap. I don't get that. It's like, okay, are you mumbling because you have an issue with enunciation? Or are you mumbling because you really are feeling the music? If it's an emotional thing and you're getting choked up about the music while you're singing, I can understand mumbling. But if it's just for the sake of it, no. No. Okay? That's why I didn't really like her song. Other than that, it was an okay song. I mean, it's pop. I'm not that... That's not generally my thing. The rest of the songs in the movie were pretty great. There were a few jazz tunes. There was a few more... there was even a Latin feel to... what was his name? Casper? The cat. Who, I really liked his character. He was great. He kind of taught the ponies a lesson in don't trust strangers right off the street, but he also learned a lesson from them via Rarity's generosity, which was really good. He had more development with regards to that, and then he helped them out in the end. That was great. Is that his name? I'm going to have to look that up. Because to be honest, they did not mention the character names very much, and it took a bit of time to... Capper, not Casper, Capper. That's right. Okay, he was great. Really liked him. And cats. I love cats, so totally great. I don't think they ever mentioned many of the names of the pirates, which I really, really liked. And that was cool, just seeing pirates out of nowhere. And Rainbow Dash's inspiring song to kind of bring that passionate fire back for what they love to do. Because let's be honest, if you were attacked by some evil villain Storm King and forced to work for him, you would lose some of that passionate fire too, and you'd get depressed, feeling that your life was just a repetitive, dull existence with a threat constantly looming over your very soul and your very opportunity to even live. So Rainbow Dash bringing that back out of them and then inspiring them to rally up against the Storm King. That was great. I loved that. That was really good. Let me think. Oh. It's time to go a little deeper, okay? Now, to segue into what I'm going to talk about next, I kind of need to explain something that will probably shock a few of you at first. When I first saw The Return of Harmony, the Season 2 premiere, I honestly say I had mixed feelings about it. Very mixed feelings. And I'm not entirely sure why. It kind of left me with that knotted gut feeling. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I think the reason why was it was just so drastically different from anything we'd seen in the show before, or anything that I had seen, because I was still learning about the show. Don't get me wrong, I love Discord. He was a great villain. He truly felt like a villain, unlike Nightmare Moon's appearance in the first episode. But he did some really great chaos, and he pilled some really great roles, and he really got to the characters. That's what was really good about him, because he finally started driving wedges between their friendship, trying to break apart what made them strong, trying to lure them away from being the true form of themselves. And and I think that's why I didn't like it, but at the same time loved it, which is why I left me with mixed feelings, because it was like, they ruined their friendships. No! How dare you? You broke Twilight. You made her cry. You made her depressed. You ruined her. But at the same time, it was like, yes, you're being a villain. This is what villains are supposed to do. You know? It just left me with mixed feelings. And it took a while. Perhaps 4 rewatches of the episode and a lot of reaction rewatches to really, really love the episode. But it didn't start out me loving it right off the bat. I had mixed feelings, and then eventually it grew on me until it's now become one of the staple premieres that I really do enjoy. Although I still feel Starlight's Village was the best premiere yet, as far as two-parters go. The movie has left me with that feeling too, but because I've figured out why I feel that feeling now, it's better, in a sense. Like I said, I'm going to have to rewatch the movie to really get all my thoughts and everything gathered and make it cohesive and better, but I loved Twilight's development in the movie. Oh my gosh, it was just so good. Like, for a long time, I think the show kind of lured us into the sense of Twilight being the perfect pony after being a princess, especially in the latest season. She's just done so many things that seem almost too perfect, in a sense, without any flaws. I mean, she had her occasional little quirks, and she had a lesson to learn with Flurry Heart, but that was about it. And then she published a journal and learned that lesson, but that's about it. I mean, she still felt like such a perfect pony, which is probably why she somewhat moved up to my top pony, because it gave us all something to look forward to. But then the movie, she had some really hard development, in the sense that the pressure of trying to save Equestria from this major threat that was coming from outside Equestria, like nothing she'd ever seen before, like totally overwhelming every hope she thought she had, it drove her to some desperate measures, like stealing that pearl from the sea ponies, or hippogriffs turned sea ponies. Oh, hippogriffs are canon now. I love that. Silver Quill is probably jumping for joy about that. But anyway, I mean, as soon as that scene came up, I was like, okay, Twilight didn't go with the others to sing that song and make friends with dang it, what was her name? Princess Star something? Pony Feathers. Skystar. Princess Skystar. Yeah, that. her. She didn't go with her friends. Okay, something's up. Twilight's up to something. Would she really steal that? The movie had me guessing for a few moments until it was revealed that she did. I was like, no, Twilight would never do that. Would she? It kind of gave you that, wait a minute. It kept you second guessing, which is good. I like it when that happens. And it made me question her character. It made me question her. It made me question her status as a leader. It made me question her very existence. It made me question exactly who she is. And then when her friends confronted her about it, and she basically shut them out and didn't realize until it was too late that her desperate measures were going too far. That hit pretty hard to home. That was really good development for her. She needed that. So apparently, one of her flaws that we don't get to see very often, because let's be real here, the ponies usually live pretty peaceful lives. I mean, sure, there may be occasional chaos and disasters in terms of just randomness, but nothing as threatening as another major villain taking over everything and using all the magic for himself. So that pressure finally got to her and broke her into doing things she wouldn't normally do. It forced her to think unclearly. Her judgment became a little clouded, and that at first left me wrestling with, like, wow, Twilight, I can't believe you did that. That was a low blow to the poor hippogriffs, and jeez. But at the same time, it's like, I can understand why you just want to save everything you love so much. So sometimes you gotta pull things that may be considered wrong in another context. Granted, that ultimately ended up resulting in her getting captured, but that was needed in order for her to kind of start leading Tempest's shadow away from the Storm King, kind of showing her the error of her ways, showing her what real friendship is about, because Tempest didn't have any of that. And then, of course, Tempest's real name being revealed at the end, that was pretty ridiculous. Like, what was it again? What was her name again? Fizzlepop Berry Twist. Yeah, that. Wow. Talk about I could see why she changed her name. That wouldn't roll too well as a side villain character name. I mean, if you think about it, if a villain waltzed in and announced themselves as Fizzlepop Berry Twist, you'd be like, what? So, yeah, but wow, that's quite a name. I wonder if we'll see her again in Season 8. They mentioned that Season 8 would have a little more continuity to do with the movie. I really hope so. That would be great. But with regards to Twilight, it just makes me want to hug her, you know? Because that was a pretty rough day for Twilight. Or is it several days? I don't actually know. You could kind of put it in one day, but that would be a lot to do in one day. I think the movie kind of happened over maybe 3 days. That seems like a reasonable guess. Sorry about the coughing. I have weird things coming up in my chest late at night for some reason. Let me think. Any other comments to make? It seems like it's mostly received pretty positive acclaim. That's great, because I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to watch it again with you guys for some more reactions, to notice little details that I might have missed the first viewing and catch all those great little references and hidden facts and stuff. What else was I gonna say? The Sea Pony designs were way, way, way better than the Breezy designs. Thank you, animators. Oh, and the animation and the visuals. That's what I was going to talk about next. That was beautiful. If the rest of the show continues in this style, I won't mind, because it was so smooth, so fluid, it looked so pretty, and so full of life. It's so real. I mean, there were some inconsistencies with the CGI, like the 3D CGI. Like, there were sometimes the airships were just like, those seem way out of place there, but that's a minor nitpick. And then, let's see. The music, as usual, was phenomenal. Daniel Ingram is a genius. I can't wait to write music with him someday, maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get the soundtrack, the score. The only thing I don't like is when people tend to release the public soundtrack. They only release the songs from the movie, and they don't release like the actual orchestral score. There are some of us orchestral nerds out there who get very disappointed when they call that soundtrack. That is not the soundtrack. The soundtrack is the entire orchestral music. I want to hear all of it. All of it. Every little chord, every little instrument, every little shift in mood helps set the movie. Without that music, it's kind of like, what am I watching, you know? I mean, think about it. Could you imagine Jaws without the bum 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 music to it? It would just look ridiculous. Like it wouldn't make any sense. But that music that creates that tension, it's crucial to the plot, to the device, to the whole artistic form of a film. I hope they release the orchestral soundtrack. If not, I'll rely on some of the other people to rip it out of the movie. I'm sure they will. Anyway. That was amazing. What else was I gonna say? I think I've covered all my initial thoughts. And I've been talking for about a half hour. That's not too bad. That's an average reaction right there. Is there anything else? I hope the hippogriffs come back in other episodes. That would be great. Continuity there. Minor nitpick. Canterlot. The design looked way different in the movie. I'm not sure if that was perhaps Twilight's doing just to change it so that the festival would run smoother, or if that was just a minor continuity flaw with the design team. Like the entrance gate to Canterlot looked completely different in the movie. Again, minor nitpick. It's only the minor nitpicks that moved it down from a 10 out of 10 to a 9.9. And even that's not much on my scale because I really, really loved it. There was some great humor in it, too. Like Pinkie Pie shooting them through the tornado at the end. That was great. With her giant new party cannon, which came out of nowhere. I guess she's still developing one. Maybe she's taking lessons from Cheese Sandwich, who, by the way, made an appearance in the movie. I noticed him. That was awesome. I wish he would have sung a song, but he was at least there helping Pinkie with the party. Brilliant. Brilliant idea. Let's see. Trixie's not going to be too pleased that Tempest Shadow is some competition in terms of making great fireworks with unicorn magic. One thing that did kind of confuse me is why Twilight didn't just use the staff to repair Tempest Shadow's horn. Because that was the whole reason she had agreed to work for the Storm King in the first place. If Twilight had just used the staff to fix that, that would prove even further that they were friends. I mean, maybe they took that out just so that the relation would be more realistic. Or maybe Twilight literally didn't know how. Like, does it take some sort of healing magic that she just didn't know yet? In which case, I wonder what kind of healing magic there is in Equestria. Maybe I'll find out in a later episode of the season that I haven't seen yet. I don't know. One more nitpick on the villain. A tornado? Really? You're the Storm King and you just crafted a few tornadoes. So what? The ponies have seen that many times before. I mean, sure, this time it phased them because, well, you had all the magic, and it was probably too powerful of a tornado for them to do anything about. But, seriously? You didn't summon solar flares, or volcanoes out of the ground, or earthquakes. There's other natural disasters you could have caused. I'm just saying. Yeah, he could have used a bit more. He could have used some lessons on being a villain. He did betray Tempest Shadow, using her. That was expected. That makes sense. But he could have used some lessons in terms of thinking his plan through. He could have taken some lessons from Chrysalis. Chrysalis had some pretty clever plans that would have most of the time worked had she not taken if she'd just taken into account the main 6 ponies. or their friends. Let me think. Storm King was obliterated at the end. Totally obliterated. He turned into a stone statue and fell off a cliff and blown to pieces. 10 out of 10. They killed a character. Sombra's the only other one who suffered that fate. It's been a while. Glad they did that. He kind of needed to go, but at the same time, Chrysalis still needs help. Like, what are they going to do for the Season 7 finale? Which is coming up really close. I'm pretty excited for that. Oh, I'm psyched. Let's see, what else? Applejack could have had a better role. She did have some great lines, and she had some great character moments, but she didn't really have a role in terms of, like, fighting. I feel like she could have done a lot more. Like, instead of just running away from those goons, why not, like, use those strong Earth Pony magic hindquarters and buck them? Just, like, kick them across the screen? Seriously. They're not that much bigger than you. Fluttershy using her new assertiveness in this movie was great. That was still continuous with the rest of Season 7. And her breaking that one card for the enemy down into tears. That was great. Rarity could have done a bit more with magic. I mean, seriously, she could have levitated something to tie them up with. I mean, she did at the end with that one bow, but she could have done it earlier. Oh, one of the more subtle, darker moods to the film. That one desert town that they suddenly came across where they met Capper. Just, wow. I mean, I guess outside of Equestria, they don't have civilized laws, so that would explain all the slave trading and actual organ trading. That was heavily implied. I mean, they were selling unicorn horns on those stalls. Like, that's kind of scary. No wonder the ponies felt uncomfortable there. I mean, they wanted to take off their wings, too. Like, whoa. Whoa. I see why the ponies stick to Equestria now, but yeah, that's some good dark fanfic material. And then the moments where the ponies snapped from dehydration and stuff, that was great. Seeing Pinky's crazy faces, Twilight's "Are you kidding me?" face. It was just great. Lots of great little moments there. I still gotta get used to the new art style. I think after seeing the movie a few more times, it'll make sense. But what I'm wondering is Season 8 going to transition to being in completely that art style? Or are they still going to continue using Flash for the previous style for the TV show and just stick to that style for the movie, which would seem kind of inconsistent? I'm sure whatever they choose, I'll be fine with it, but I'm just curious. Let's see. I think that's all I have to say about it. Oh, where was Shining Armor and Flurry Heart? I mean, sure, maybe they had to stay back and keep an eye on the Crystal Empire. That would make sense. But by the same token, all Shining Armor had to do was remove Sunburst's fledgling's forbearance spell from Flurry, and that little baby would have wrecked the Storm King with her overpowered blasts of lasers. Like, seriously. Maybe they just never thought of that. Or maybe Twilight didn't want to risk dragging the Crystal Empire into that after they'd been living so peacefully. Which, by the way, I'm sure the Crystal Empire ponies and everyone in the Crystal Empire had no idea this was happening. They're so out there, far north, and all this was taking place south, that I guess major disconnect and distance there. That would make sense. I wonder if that desert has any connection to the town of Somnambula that we saw in the Daring Done episode. That would make some sense. I'm just also wondering why the team over at Hasbro has been so fond of desert cultures lately. It showed up in the movie too, which is cool. And I love it, and I love the music of that style, but I'm like, My guess is maybe one of them traveled to the Middle East and was just so inspired that they just started going crazy for the show, and everyone else loved it, so they approved it. I don't know. What else? I think that's all I gotta say. Thanks for listening to me ramble on for 36 minutes. But by the time you watch this, I mean, maybe you're like me and you're a night owl and you stay up way late. You'll probably watch it as soon as it's uploaded. Or maybe you're a morning person and you wake up nice and early and you'll watch it. I don't know. Whenever you see this, good night, good morning, good day, every pony. I hope you guys get to see the movie more because it was great. And I hope you like my thoughts on it. My first impressions and first thoughts, which admittedly is quite a lot, considering I intentionally took a nap to kind of reset my brain and get it ready for the movie. Like, literally, I wanted to concentrate on as much as I could catch, and that's pretty much all I caught so far. I'm sure there's a lot of things I missed, and I'm going to catch them again in my re-react, which I can't wait to do for you guys. So hopefully they release the movie really soon. Please let that be the case, please. And, yeah. I'll see you in the next reaction, which hopefully will be episodes 19, 20, 21, and 22. All at once. Quadruple reaction. Grab your popcorn. No, grab a full meal. Then cook some popcorn. Then grab your dessert. Grab your pony plushies. Hug them. Take a bathroom break when you need it. It's gonna be a long ride. At any rate, I'll see you next time.